Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just the CW as a whole and what's going on there, because it's a bit crazy, and Superman Lois Season 4, both in regards to the CW stuff and just some stuff on its own. So we're heading into the back portions of this season of just television as a whole, with network shows wrapping their current seasons over the next like 2 months or so roughly, with a show like The Flash heading into its final ever episodes, and then a show like, Superman and Lois hoping to be renewed in that time as they do air their last episodes for season 3, though they're only around the halfway portion at this point. Now, the fate of the shows on the CW has been a big, very big topic of discussion over the past, 9 months or so, roughly, after the proper acquisition of the CW by Nexstar last year, and that, and just, what was going on and what was going to happen with them, going forward, do they have a future, all that stuff. Now, at this point in time, only one singular show has been renewed, that has, been through a couple seasons, which was actually a few months ago this got renewed, I think, from this point, and that is All American, just the base All American show, not the spin-off. And many assume this is more to do with the Netflix side of things due to how well that show, performs over there, but in regards to other shows and their futures, it has been pretty much, I guess, radio silence outside of the shows that were already ending as planned, like The Flash and Riverdale and Nancy Drew, which hasn't even started yet. I think that starts after Flash, but those shows that are already planned to end, they're all good. But in regards to shows that haven't been announced as ending and might only been season 2 or 3, nothing's really been talked about. Now, it has come out that the CW will have 2 things going on over the next month roughly, with one of them being next week, so actually less than a week from now, and something else a bit later in May, which will highlight other stuff going on there. More focused on 2 different things, though they're still revolved around the future and what it means for certain things. Now, of course, we are mainly bringing this up due to Superman and Lois and its future. If Superman and Lois wasn't on, I wouldn't care because The Flash is ending. Don't really care too much about anything else on the CW outside of, I guess, The Flash was ending, but then also Superman and Lois. So if you are curious or worried about that, but also any of the other shows, these dates, or at least one of them, should hopefully give us some insight into what is happening here. So if you watch All American, you're like, well, what? Well, not All American, but maybe something like, I don't know, maybe Gotham Knights, but any of the other, like Walker or Walker Independence or one of those shows. These dates also will give you some insight into what is happening there. So definitely keep them in the back of your head and pay attention when those days roll around. So the first thing that was announced, which is now happening on a jam-packed day, at least when it comes to DC stuff and the CW, is on April 25th, which will be an event in New York where Nexstar, the owners of the CW, will be showcasing the CW network and also some of the other properties that they own to media buyers, which is stuff to do with advertisements and all that and various investments, stuff like that. Now, April 25th also has the return of Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights from their week's breaks. They'll air episodes later that day or later that night, as well as the new Flash movie trailer coming out that day. So there's a lot going on that day. Pretty crazy. But yeah, this event on the 25th of April would potentially give us a potential insight into what the CW believes performs the best for them, what shows have the higher value associated with them in regards to what ads go on them and their value and everything like that. But I don't know or actually really think this would be the time or place where they would announce cancellations or even renewals for the most part, but maybe they could announce that the show will be back for another season if they feel like they need to drop something like that. Like, hey, Superman Lois performs really well for us, these are the metrics and everything like that, and good, here's some good news, it'll be back for another season. They could do something like that, but I don't know if this is the time or place to do it, so they might not really focus in on that, but they could highlight maybe if something doesn't perform well, which might make you a bit worried if you are a fan of that certain thing, whatever that show might be. But we know the CW is looking into a lot of cheaper television that can also just be put on repeat if needed, like those cheap reality shows like Maury Povich and, well, not exactly Maury Povich, but things like that. So that might be their focus and they might highlight that here, but who knows, it's a wait and see. Less than a week to go. But the other date of importance is a few weeks later on from April 25th, this being on May 18th, and this will be a press-related thing. So they're going to have a press breakfast followed by a press conference where content will be the focus from what's being said, and this is during the week of the upfronts that all the networks do normally, but the CW won't be partaking like they normally do. This press breakfast and conference will be replacing the presentation that normally goes down, which they also did last year. I think that was the first one post-COVID, but it was a thing that normally happened year to year. Like, and the actors would go there. Sometimes they'd show the trailer for a new pilot show after pilot season's happening. But of course, no shows got put through the pilot season process by the CW this season, which is a big change up, which no one was really surprised by, but it's still going to be weird that there's no new show coming in through the CW, because usually they have at least one or two to show a trailer for. And of course, as you'd expect at this breakfast and conference thing, is where they'll discuss their full lineup of shows for the back half of 2023, at least that's what's being said, which will probably be released to the public a few hours maybe prior to this, but then again, it's a breakfast, it's in the morning, so it might happen at the same time, I'm not too sure. But the elephant in the room with all of this is that all the fall shows, which come at the end of the year, would probably just be international shows that they've acquired or cheap reality stuff, as we brought up before. I mean, as we also brought up before, All American has been renewed already, but it's the only show. But then also, who knows whether that would be ready to air by this point, especially with the writer's strike that is happening in Hollywood at the moment. So who knows if shows are going to be done and even able to go. Like, the writer's strike stuff mainly affects TV because things have to happen so quickly. With movies, it isn't the biggest issue. It's more going to affect TV shows. So, I don't know if that's going to give the CW even more backing, or Nexstar to be like, hey, well, this gives us a reason to not renew shows because the writers aren't there. I'm not too sure. So they might highlight this at this point. I mean, as I said, this April 25th thing is only in less than a week from now, so they might highlight that there, but I don't know. It'd be really disappointing because that did happen in the past. Like, there was a writer's strike in the 2000s, the mid to late 2000s. Was it? Yeah, about like what, 2007, 2008 or something like that, and that affected a lot of shows. Like, some shows didn't come back, or some shows were delayed and just never got made, and then some shows were just off the air for much longer than they normally would be. So who knows what's going to happen there? It'll be very interesting. But the whole CW thing is going to be very interesting because many in TV land, network TV land to be precise, actually don't see the CW as this like runt in the litter in what they are doing, or the outcast. They see the CW as like the first main network of note to go down this path in what they're doing with the cheaper shows, internationally acquired things, and that places like Fox and CBS could follow suit. So they could get rid of all their, actual dramas and actual proper like story-based TV shows and go to like, a night, just every single night is a game show of like whatever it might be, like put the ball in the hole or whatever the game show might be. A lot of them could follow suit. Now, a lot of network shows are having to lower budgets and how much actors get paid because of the lack of money that's coming through network TV nowadays because of ads. So yeah, eyes will be on the CW with how things go alongside this writer's strike. I mean, who knows how it's going to go? Will it succeed? Will it fail? It is a wait and see, but I don't think anyone can make a strong prediction at this point because it's going into a bit of a grey area. But in regards to the future, season 4 of Superman Lois, everyone is wondering, is it going to happen? And I have seen people trying to take things really out of context with the season 3 wrap of the show and how people, like some of the cast, were talking about it. And to me, it didn't sound like they were saying goodbye to the show, just that it's the end of the season. Nothing seemed sus to me at the very least, but maybe I'm the one who missed the obvious signs. I don't know. But anyway, Alex Garfin, who plays Jordan on the show, was talking to Krypton's site, and he was asked about season 4 and how hopeful he was for season 4 news. And this is what he had to say. Hopeful. I'm hoping and hoping and hoping. It's so rare, first of all, that we even get to work on a TV show. Then it's even more rare than something so good at such an incredible and loyal and kind fan base. Fans are not always that kind. And then even more rare when the entire set and the crew and the producers are all awesome people who value kindness. It's a completely unique experience just how good it is. Even if I got another show, I'm sure that will be great as well, but man, I know a part of me will always miss this show. Now, once again, people said, oh my God, it's him saying goodbye. I think it's just him not confirming and or denying anything. Like, that's the thing with this, is that sometimes the actors don't know until maybe like a week before, like, especially with how Nexstar has gone about things. Like, I think Batwoman and Legends only knew a couple of days before I think they were found out it was cancelled. So that there wasn't that much alert there either. So I don't think the Superman and Lois people would know exactly what's going on. Of course, I think Nexstar is still like not necessarily planning too far ahead in regards to what they do exactly. And here's the thing with the renewal case with the CW is that I don't see All American being the only show. I know there's been talk that they're only going to maybe renew as many, like the max they'd renew is 3, which wouldn't surprise me. 4 maybe, just so they can have like, Monday to Thursday, they have one like an actual, like an American show, or a US, made show. and then they have like another show after it or before it. So there's always like a headlining main show that like All American, Superman, Lois, Walker, whatever it might be. But yeah, I don't see any more than that. It'd be very, very surprising. But I think the only thing that sort of goes against Superman and Lois getting renewed is the cost. But as I've sort of brought up, from everything I've heard, Smallville sort of wrapped up by the end of the season. From everything I've heard, and it seems like they go back to Metropolis. And even though it's in a city, and like they currently, where they film is just a country town, it actually is cheaper to film in a Metropolis setting because they can just build all sets inside, and if they need to film on the street, they can do that. But it actually makes it much cheaper compared to the costs that were there prior when they had to pay for all the stuff that they do, you know, building downtown Smallville and everything like that. So it's actually cheaper in the other setting in Metropolis, funnily enough. However, I don't think it's going to bring the cost down a ridiculous amount. It would just be cheaper than what it is from seasons 1 to 3. But yeah, it is a wait and see. It's not just what's going on the next day. As I said, the writer's strike puts another spanner in the works. So who knows exactly how it's going to play out. It is a wait and see. I think if they're going to announce a renewal thing, I think we'll probably learn by the end of May or even around that May 18th date where they've got this press breakfast and conference thing. We'd probably know by that point. But as I said, it's a wait and see. Everything's still in a bit of a grey area and floating around. But fingers crossed for the best news possible, I guess. But yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be awesome. Go drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various thoughts and everything we went over in this video. Always curious to where you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.